Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 14-5000 2-in-1. Alright, so the actual full model is Inspiron 5482 2-in-1. The hinges on here are kind of broken, so I'm kind of pushing it down to try and keep it from popping up. Alright, first thing we're going to do is remove all the screws from the bottom. Alright, they can be different size, shape, and length, so you want to keep them in order. The way I do that is I put them flat side down, but these are kind of holding in place. Alright, so I put them flat side down on my desk in the pattern I remove them. That one's holding itself in place as well. Alright, so like this. Okay, so I guess we only have the 4 down here and these 2, so keep those in order. This one's missing a screw. Alright, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Anyways, other than that, let's continue removing all the screws. Okay, there you go. These screws actually seem to be about the same, so if you mix them up, you're probably going to be okay. Alright, the way you get this bottom cover off, so as you can see, there's actually a gap between the palm rest and the bottom cover. So what I do is I get my fingernails in that gap and then I push with my thumbs back here, and you can see it pops out super easily. Okay, once we get that, we should be able to kind of lift this whole thing up and kind of just like wiggle it, and there you go, it pops off. So these 2 screws, they're actually not held in with washers or anything. They just have like a smooth portion and then the threading, and the threading gets caught on the case. That's how it holds itself in. Alright, it is a little dusty, so I'll have to clean it up later. But yeah, for some reason the battery wasn't working on this, and apparently it's not even plugged in. That's weird. Alright, so these hinges are all flopping all over the place. I'm pretty sure that the hinge mounts are broken, and that's why it's doing that. So tightening these probably isn't going to do anything. But let's see here. Okay, also the case moving around makes it so this has issues lining up. Oh, actually the wiring in here is getting a little roughed up. That's not good. But tightening this, like, it tightens, but it's not actually, I don't think it's tightening onto anything. If we kind of move this, yeah, it's kind of just moving around, and I can't really. Normally I would epoxy the hinges in place, but in this case, I don't know what I would epoxy it to. Yeah, there's too many things that are kind of in the way. One thing that worries me is the screen cables right here, okay? And if this gets stuck, caught, that's going to be bad. I'm wondering if I could maybe just epoxy this general area, the smaller area here, because if that works, then that might be okay. Just enough so it doesn't kind of get pushed all over the place. So I'm gonna see if I can, let's see, we're gonna peel this up a little. I don't know why they need this tape here, but it's here. Okay, I wonder if this battery is actually okay. Let me plug this in, and then I'm going to actually test it out. So I don't know how this battery connector could even come out like that, but let's go ahead and pull it in, unless somebody opened this and tried to work on it before and then just never plugged it back in. So I don't think it's going to turn on without plugging in first. I gotta be careful and hold the hinge while I open it. Okay, see, yeah, that's not good. I don't know if the JB Weld is going to be able to hold that in place. That's pretty bad. Okay, well, let's see, power button, nothing's happening. Let me go plug this in and I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm just going to test it and then see what it looks like, see if the battery's okay, and yeah, I'll be back. Alright, so battery seems to be working okay. So what I'm going to do is, let's pull the battery connector back out. I'm going to actually drain the power here. So the way you do that is after disconnecting the battery and the power, I don't want to open the hinge up more, but I'm going to press and hold the power button here for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power. Alright, this makes it safer to work on, especially since I'm possibly going to be disconnecting the LCD LVDS connector. All right, so let's hold it for a few more seconds. I also need to clean this out. There's a lot of dust in here. I can see like lint balls here coming out. Okay, it's been more than 15 seconds. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it completely flat if I can. All right, this other broken hinge is going to be a problem. Yeah, so this side the hinge is okay, but it's going to need a screw there. This side, yeah, it's really bad. I don't know if I'm going to be able to somehow reattach this. It has the metal plate that's underneath that's kind of ripped out. I don't know if there's a way to even reattach that. See, underneath there's all this broken plastic and metal gunk there. So I don't know. I can try gluing it and then just use a clamp to see if I can hold that in place. But I'm worried it will set wrong, and then that's going to be also kind of bad. So and I do have a customer messaging me, so I might have to take that. Give me a second. Let's try and close this a little so it can kind of stand on its own. Okay, and we need it to kind of just align back this way if possible. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick this down. It's also kind of pretty dusty there under there. Let's see if we can close this to have this side. The hinge will stay open, and then we can kind of clean in there. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to somehow stick this whole thing back down. I can try. But most likely we're going to end up having to take all this stuff out. Usually I just epoxy the entire like hinge on there directly. But I don't know. This looks kind of bad. I don't know if it's going to work. Yeah. If I leave these, it's probably going to get a worse, not as good hold. So I'm actually going to take these out. Okay, we're going to take the old broken hinge mounts out. And the screws, we're just going to get rid of those. We don't need them. Okay, sorry, this is going to be a long video of like probably stuff that most people won't need. But we'll take that out. We're probably going to have to find a screw that's long enough to fit down on the other hinge. Just because that side, the hinge is pretty bad. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll clean this up a bit. And we're going to use some JB Weld to hold it in place. Basically, we'll JB Weld it, and then we'll probably have to close it and see if this will hold in place. Oh, there's one more screw down here I need to remove. Sorry, I know we're not even getting good viewing angles. If you want to just see like what components are in here and all of that, that will be coming soon. It's all going to be in the same video, so you can just fast forward through past the hinge part if you don't have any hinge issues. All right, this whole thing is pretty dusty. I'll probably clean it out after I fix the hinge, because this is going to have to set overnight. But basically, yeah, we're going to JB Weld this directly onto here, and hopefully that will be good. Alright, I got to try and avoid trapping cables and stuff under here. There's the DC jack charge port connector, which if I glue this down, then if it breaks, it's going to be very difficult to replace. So I'm trying to figure out what I should do. Technically, the only parts that really need the epoxy are in towards the center. So let me actually close this up. And yeah, I'll probably JB weld this for the customer. This metal piece is breaking here, so let's see if we can take that out, because it's actually cutting into the charge port, which is not good. Okay, so we're gonna get this out. Okay, and basically we're gonna JB weld it directly onto here. The only thing is then this is gonna flex since there's nothing to hold the case pieces together. Maybe with a strong tape we can put on the outside to help it, but yeah. Okay, so this cable will have to go inside when we rotate this, but for now let's go ahead and I guess mix up some JB weld. I'm gonna cover these pieces with some tape so that way if the JB weld gets onto them, we should be able to peel it off. Okay, so let's see here. Should I wrap it this way? Okay, so we're just going to wrap some tape over it to, again, keep the JB weld from just sitting on it. And then that way, if anything happens, we should be able to peel it back up. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this tape over this way. And like that. Okay. And we'll see if we can remove this tape afterwards, because we don't want to really just leave tape in there if we don't have to. Okay, and then we're going to put a little bit on this as well. So, you can actually take the charge port out, but yeah, I'm just going to put some tape there. Let's lift the charge port up. There's one screw holding it in. You can see we can lift this up and out of the way. And I'm just going to put some tape around it so that way the JB weld won't stick to it. And then we should be able to just peel that out afterwards. At least that's the plan. Okay, so I'll stick that down. Use a little more tape to stick it down so it doesn't move. Peel that off later. Okay, so we're gonna fill this area with JB weld. I gotta be careful with this side, but I do want some JB weld in there. If my head was getting in the way, I'm sorry. But yeah. All right, let's get the JB weld here. All right, so JB weld is a 2-part epoxy. I use 3 screwdrivers to do this. Let me rotate it this way. Maybe it'll be easier for me to work on because it's closer to me. And then I can actually also do the JB weld and everything all at once. Okay, so we'll get this here. And JB weld again is 2 parts, so we got a black and a white portion. All right, so let's go ahead and get this. Just like drop the little cover. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get a blob here. We're probably gonna need quite a bit. So I'm gonna squeeze out a bunch like that. I hope that's gonna be enough. All right. Okay, because we are filling a pretty large gap, but at the same time, I don't want a crazy amount. All right. That. And we need the black portion. Oh, I'm not even in view of the camera. Sorry, there's not much room on my desk to push things all over the place, but all right, I'm gonna get a big blob of the black one now. Hopefully that's not too much. All right. All right, let me clean up this. Okay, so we're gonna stir the 2 parts together. Again, and this, you kind of have to pay very close attention to what you're doing. Every break is different, so yours would be broken probably different from mine. It might look similar, but you want to make sure to be careful And yeah, make sure to clean up the area, coat any portions that might get badly affected by this so that you don't damage anything. And yeah, all right, use your best judgment. If you're not sure, probably don't mess with it. Okay, so there we go. We actually have, that's a lot of JB Weld. I think way more than enough. All right. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna fill this area. Let me zoom in a bit more. Maybe bring this closer. Okay, so we're gonna fill this area with JB Weld. They make all this hollow plastic and then it just breaks. They should put like at least a solid plastic here. So usually what we end up doing is filling this whole area with JB Weld, replacing that bad design of missing plastic. If you want, we can, since there's a metal thing here, we can actually flood this area with JB Weld to strengthen it, make it a little more stiff. That way, when we open and close it, it'll hopefully be a lot stronger. So we're gonna somewhat flood this area. And then the other thing is we're gonna obviously have to be able to put the bottom cover back on. So what I do is I line this area with like plastic wrap to make sure that it gets a even if it gets on everything, that it won't cause any problems. Okay, all right, this area is like kind of small for that screw to hold on to, so I'm a little bit worried with that. I don't know, I'm worried what's going to happen when I close the hinge on it, but I want to get a nice solid amount. The only thing is I don't want it flooding out into the hinge here. That could be bad. That could be a disaster. So we're going to put some JB Weld on this side of the hinge. Okay, and I'm going to actually put it all over the hinge itself, at least where the screws are going. So when we close this down, it will flood in and stick to the bottom a lot better. Okay, and we also want some on this side, but all right, we'll see. I don't know about the outer one. I don't think that's going to stick to anything, because where did it used to stick onto? I don't see anything here for it to stick onto. Maybe, yeah, there's nothing really there for it to stick onto. I'll put some JB Weld in here, and I guess we'll fill it up after we close the hinge. So there we go, we got that. Let's zoom out a bit and then see if we can close this hinge. It's going to be a little tricky probably. Okay, so the hinge, we need to push this over and fold it flat. So let's see here. Oh, I'm going to get JB Weld all over my fingers. Probably was a bad idea coating the whole thing with it first. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to see if I can grab on this pointed part. Yep, that works. Okay, and then we can hopefully push this. Let's close this up. Since we didn't have to do anything with the hinge area, we should go ahead and plug this in, the battery, and we can make sure everything is working okay. Alright. Alright, now we can go ahead and push this down. Okay, you can see it's kind of glooping up into it. That's what we want. The other thing is, let me zoom out here. We want to make sure that this whole thing is all lined up, because if it's not lined up right, we're going to have some issues. Okay. Alright. And now we're going to put JB Weld here. Okay, basically filling the little holes where we flooded it, and then have a little extra on top, just like that. Do that all around. We'll put some in this one, put some in here. And then we have this whole area we can kind of flood, which hopefully should hold it much stronger. Okay. I think I actually got a good amount of JB Weld, so not like a crazy amount extra. Flood this area. And then have it go over the hinge. All right, the most important part is where this arm of the hinge is. Oops, sorry, I should zoom in more. So the most important part is where the arm of the hinge is, because that's what takes the most force. So I'm trying to flood the area around it and the area like directly over it. The JB Weld, and that's actually a lot of JB Weld there, so I think that should hold up really strong. I don't think we're gonna have any issues with that coming out. Okay. A little bit more that we got, so let's go ahead and use it. Flood it into those areas there. All around out here. Okay, if this somehow breaks, I'd be really surprised, because that's a lot of JB Weld. Alright, so let's clean this stuff up. I'm going to get some plastic wrap to put in place. All right. All right. So let's get some plastic wrap here. Okay, let's zoom out. Put this away. Hopefully I didn't damage anything trying to push the hinge down. I don't see anything that looks messed up. I hope not. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and get some plastic wrap here. Alright, and we're just gonna cut a piece to go over there. And this will cover the JB Weld, and then we're going to put the bottom cover on and let it sit overnight. Okay, and this will keep it from going onto the cover. So we're gonna hook over the bottom here and get that all lined up. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and tighten these screws down, and we're just gonna let this sit overnight. And then after that, we're gonna check it, and hopefully we'll have a nice solid hinge. All right, and also hopefully the computer will work okay. So I'm gonna pop all of that back into place, and we're just gonna let this sit overnight. I don't know if I can somehow pop this portion in. You can see it's like sticking up there, but that's probably bent from when it broke, so I don't think that can be bent back. I don't know about that. Let's see. Because the hinge is already bent completely flat down. What if I get popsicle stick in there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we can push that part that bent into place. I think it's completely broken there. Well, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys after it's been sitting overnight. All right. Just got to make sure this stays lined up. All right. See you guys then. Bye. All right. So the JB Weld had time to set. We're going to pull this off. I checked the screen opens and closes nicely. So what we're going to do, we're going to peel off this stuff. We no longer need this plastic wrap and we no longer need the tape there. So let's peel this out. Okay. Just to be safe, let's actually also disconnect the battery again. Okay, and we're going to press and hold the power button to drain any residual power. Let's go ahead and do that. Disconnect that, and now you can see we can open it just fine. All right, I'm going to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power to make it a lot safer to work on. All right, a lot of people ask, is this necessary? If you want to risk causing hundreds of dollars of damage to your computer to save 15 seconds, then I mean, go ahead, but it's 15 seconds. Just save that extra time. Just spend that little time and save yourself from some possible headaches. All right, we're gonna now peel off the tapes here. Hopefully we can peel it all up. Okay, oh, this label I guess is probably gonna get stuck. Let's see if this tape will even come out. So yes, okay, let's also see, oops, sorry, I was going out of view. So let's see if we can get this out. So as you can see, if you need, you can still change the charge port. We got that tape out. It came out nicely. Okay, you just have to tuck it under there, get that in, and we'll get this screw in. Okay. Oh. All right. You can see how much of a thick layer there is right there. Okay, let's go ahead and peel off this tape here. Hopefully I'm getting it all in view. Peel this off, and this might be stuck, but let's see. Hopefully we can get it out because it's trapped under this area here. Oh, okay. There we go. Peel that up, and it came out. So there we go. All that tape is out. You can still remove this cable. You can still remove that. So we haven't lost any ability to remove any components. Okay, and I'm just looking under here, see if everything looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this, make sure it's in all the way. Stick that back down. Okay, stick this back down. And yeah, let's go ahead now and reassemble this thing. Oops, sorry. Let's put the battery back, of course. Again, the battery acts as the BIOS CMOS RTC real-time clock battery, so the date and time will reset. Keep that in mind. All right, and if you had any custom boot settings, then that will reset as well. If I'm not mistaken, I already showed all the other components, or maybe I didn't actually. So let's quickly go over. If I did already show this, you can just fast forward over. All right, you got the USB port here, all right, and the SD card slot connected with this cable. It has a little flip latch, and then that connects to the board over here. Okay, you got the fan, 2 screws here, and the fan is connecting right there. Okay, this has like a connector you grab and wiggle. You got the wireless card here with a metal bracket on top over the antennas. The antennas come out by going under the tails and pulling up. It looks like one antenna has a little white thing over it for the white arrow. Okay, and then the black arrow has just the plain wire. There's a CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. They covered the label, but this is what it looks like. It's usually a 3 volt. It's like a CR2032, but it's wrapped with this and has this cabling. Red wires going towards the SSD, black wires going towards the RAM slots. This is an SSD. It's an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. You can use a full-sized one. You would have to move this little metal bracket over. Once you take the SSD out, you can kind of lift up here. You can see there's a little dimple. It goes down into like this hole and holds it in place. So you'd have to lift that up and then shove the whole thing over, and then you can transfer this metal piece over here by sliding the wings of this connector or this metal piece underneath, and then this piece goes on top and the nub hooks in there. Okay, you also have a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive slot here. You can put a hard drive or an SSD. I would highly recommend a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. It comes with the SATA connector here. I'm not going to pull that out, but there's 3 screws holding this thing in place. They actually show you here how it works. and it looks like you have to take the battery out to get the cable underneath, and it connects right here. Okay, this has a little flip latch. You can get the cable in and then flip it back down. They actually show you right here, and I'm assuming it comes with the screws, but if you're using an SSD, you don't even need to worry about that. All right, you got a speaker here with the cable running along to the other speaker here, and both speakers connect with this one wire or cable here. You got the keyboard connector here with the flip latch. You got the keyboard backlight connector here, and then touchpad connector there. Battery connector, this piece separates from the battery here, and then you got that. And if I didn't already mention, WDX0R is the battery model number. It's a very common Dell battery. And then you got the 2 slots for RAM here. Okay, we're gonna pull this out. It says DDR4 only. If you didn't know, RAM, you can only use the same type, DDR1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so you can't like mix and match because the slot is different. All right, there's a hair stuck in here. All right, so this stick of RAM is an 8 gig PC4 2666V, so you should be fine with any PC4 2666V. If you want, you can put 2 16 gig sticks. There might even be 32 gig sticks. There's a little dust and stuff in here. Let me get that out. Okay, get that, click that in. Right, other side. Oh, they actually only had 1 slot, or they only had 1 stick of RAM in there. So if they want, they can put an extra 8 gigs. It's actually better to have 2 sticks of RAM so that you're running on DDR or dual channel memory. It'll run a lot faster. Also, CPU's under here, soldered to the motherboard. But if you remove this, you need to redo the thermal paste, clean up the old stuff, and put new thermal paste. Alright, and I think that's pretty much it. Again, LCD LVDS connector and DC jack charge port connector. Also, this connector has a small connector right here underneath this tape. So if you take this out, you do need to take this cable out. They're all part of this same cable here. And that is for the, what do you call? That is for probably the camera and microphones. All right, I had to make sure tuck these cables back in because you don't want to damage them. All right, once you got all of that in, we can go ahead now and put this thing back together. All right, I think we got everything now, so let's go ahead and get this thing reassembled. Okay. Also, I did clean the dust off here as well. Okay, you do need to put this back in at an angle, as I showed earlier, pretty sure. Okay, and then just click all of this back down. Okay, and we'll get all these screws back in. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, again, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, you're welcome to stay as I finish getting all these screws back in, but that's pretty much it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's get all these screws back in, and then obviously I'm going to turn it back on. And again, as I mentioned, it does reset the CMOS and the BIOS, so if it takes a while to power up and show anything on the screen, be patient. If after leaving it for like 10-20 minutes it still doesn't show anything on the screen, then you want to power it off completely and then double check maybe the RAM is messed up, because sometimes the RAM, if it's not inserted properly or there's some dirt or dust on the pins, then it will basically not want to start up. Alright, so we're going to open up the laptop now, and this hinge moves nicely. We don't have any issues anymore, and even though it's missing the screw there, you can see it opens a little bit, this little gap, but actually it holds really well. Alright, so you can see it's booting up, and we should be good to go. Alright, thanks for watching, and also it's a good idea if you change any hardware to do a restart, but that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.